Hi, my name's Ruben Krippner and I'm a Senior Product Manager on the Microsoft Dynamics CRM team here in Redmond. Today I'd like to take you through the vision, strategy and roadmap on how we're utilizing social technologies to drive productivity for your organization. We live in a world increasingly where social technologies are changing the way that we communicate and collaborate, both personally and professionally. And consequently, social technologies are becoming a new channel of engagement and collaboration and a new opportunity for organizations and their customers. The convergence of social technologies and traditional customer relationship management of sales, service and marketing is referred to as Social CRM. So let's get started on today's presentation. So today's agenda, we're going to step through a number of areas. The first one is we want to articulate the social revolution. We want to go through the Microsoft view, the Microsoft Dynamics CRM view of the social world, how we actually look at the world in terms of what we term the three communities model. Then we're going to get into the business opportunities with social technologies and our strategy and approach to adopting social technologies and combining that with CRM. We'll go through what our customers can do today in terms of the technologies that you can take advantage of right now, and then where are we heading in the future. So many people think today that social media is a fad as far as business is concerned, or even how people are collaborating and communicating. And our message is that that needs to be challenged. So if you look at traditional technologies and how they've been adopted, there's been various studies, but things like, as we start towards things like radio and television, you can see that they took a significant amount of time to be adopted. If we then look at things like the internet, we're now shortening the time frame at which it becomes prevalent as far as the business and personal world is concerned. So you look at consumer devices like the iPod, again, we're shortening the time frame at which people are adopting this as a standard part of their life. And then when you get to social technologies and social networks, an example of Facebook, they had 100 million users in less than 9 months. So it's incredible how rapidly these technologies are being adopted in both our personal and professional worlds. Just to give you some idea around the scale of Facebook, if it was a country, it'd be the world's third largest, and only India and China have more people as part of a population. And if you look at the amount of usage, staggering amounts of users actually log on to Facebook on any given day. If you start to look at things like other social networks like LinkedIn, a huge proportion of them use that for recruitment. And a new member joins LinkedIn every second. Also, you start to see the prevalence of social technologies and networks in the way that people communicate, people follow celebrities. And if you look at Lady Gaga, Justin Bieber and Britney Spears, they have more Twitter followers than the entire populations of several developed countries. If you look at things like YouTube, every minute, 24 hours of video content is uploaded. So we're starting to see huge volumes of content, of opinions, of conversations going onto social media. Increasingly, bloggers are becoming influential in products, services and brands. And 34% of bloggers are actually actively posting opinions real time about those subjects. The question is for an organization is, are you listening? When we also look at how consumers and businesses are behaving in terms of how they conduct purchasing decisions, 90% are trusting peer recommendations. Advertising is becoming increasingly irrelevant in terms of people making decisions about what they purchase, the services and products that they utilize. And 70% of people trust other consumer opinions over advertising from organizations. Again, a number of leading industry experts are indicating that social media is going to become more pervasive. It's going to become a critical factor, a critical success factor within any business's operations. So therefore, hopefully that's challenged whether or not you think social media is a fad. Social media is a reality in professional and personal life. So what's the Microsoft view of the social world? First of all, we recognize that social technologies are transformational in how organizations and people interact. Social CRM represents the convergence of social technologies with CRM processes such as sales, service and marketing, and technologies such as social networks, communities and so forth. The reality is that people, consumers, businesses participate in conversations, they post their observations, their complaints, their praise in real time. Staggering volumes of content is being placed onto these networks. And so organizations can therefore choose to listen and engage, or they can choose to ignore. Conventional wisdom and certainly industry experts are pointing to the fact that listening and engaging is the optimal approach to the social world. So when Microsoft looks at the overall social space, we term what we call the three communities model. And for any organization, at the center of it are people, whether they be customers, whether they be employees, other stakeholders, partners, vendors. People form the business hub of any organization. Then if you look at three broad types of communities, we have both internal and external. From an internal perspective, these are communities within inside an organization. These can be teams, virtual teams. They can incorporate relationships between an organization and their partners or vendors. Then we look at external communities, and we're starting to get into a realm of what we term managed and independent. Managed are communities or networks that are established, branded, and therefore managed by the organization. They're typically by invitation only or by subscription, and it is almost a closed network on how an organization interacts with their customers or stakeholders. If we then look at independent communities, these are completely external. They're not managed by the organization, and the organization has no control or moderation of the conversations that are going on. So for example, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, there's no real degree of control of the conversation. In fact, there is absolutely no control of the conversation. So that's how we look at the landscape of the social world and the types of communities and scenarios that we're trying to address with our investments, both from a Microsoft standpoint as well as specific investments in Microsoft Dynamics CRM. So let's have a look at each of these broad sets of communities. From an internal community perspective, the participants can be anyone within an organization or ecosystem. So it could be employees, it could be partners, it could be vendors. There's a broad range of people across formal structures such as teams, ad hoc structures such as virtual teams. Now in terms of the participant objectives, it's about how do I quickly and easily ask questions? How do I locate expertise? How do I answer questions for my customers? I also want to keep my finger on the pulse of what's going on in the organization. So whether that be prospects, whether it be customers and accounts that I manage, whether it be business events that are relevant or affect my role, such as the closing of an opportunity, the opening of a high priority case. These kinds of communities are all about trying to keep in touch with what's going on that's relevant to them. Another thing that people or participants within internal communities want is the ability to actually promote and drive awareness of their own business achievements and their own tangible business goals. Conversely, from an organizational objective, the organization wants to use internal communities to facilitate improved productivity. They want to make it easier for their employees, their stakeholders, to communicate and collaborate. They also want to try and break down traditional organization silos and allow people to find answers, find expertise, to be able to share knowledge, to be able to collaboratively solve problems for customers and drive productivity. So technology examples of internal communities are things like email aliases and distributions. We're also talking about microblogs, the ability to actually post short statuses for things like questions, observations, events, so forth. There are also internal blogs and internal or intranet applications where people are able to collaborate, post ideas, collaborate on processes, documents, content, those sorts of things. If we then look at the managed communities, so these are typically participants who are registered or approved members of a community that have some kind of relationship to an organization. So these could be customers, these could be approved partners, these could be all kinds of people who the organization is setting up a community to facilitate collaboration and communication and engagement. So a participant in a managed community has a number of objectives. First of all, they want to utilize it to answer their questions, to be able to solve problems on a time and at a venue that suits them. They want to be able to contribute ideas about products and services. So they want to drive potentially the innovation or roadmap for that product and service. They want to be able to complain directly to the organization about poor service. They want to be able to provide feedback on product capabilities or just the organization or brand as a whole. They also want to be able to register their praise and endorsement for good service or product capabilities. Managed communities for participants also means the ability to actually harness or crowdsource other customers' experiences to search for solutions to their own problems. And on top of that, they can also use managed communities to identify themselves as an expert. So we're appealing to the ego of customers to be champions of the product or service, to identify themselves and perhaps receive recognition or rewards for being an active participant within a community. From an organizational perspective, it's about providing additional convenience, making it simpler for customers to actually get their problem solved in a broader, more scalable fashion. They want to allow customers to connect with other customers, to collectively solve problems, to actually deflect potentially direct customers coming into their contact center or into their organization, allowing customers to help other customers. And they want to use it as a direct feedback mechanism to receive the praise, the complaints, the suggestions, so that they can be more in touch with their customers' views, build better products and services, and therefore drive customer loyalty as far as the organization is concerned. So if we look at the technology examples, it's things like corporate forums and blogs, the ability to sign up customers and members on email lists, distribution lists, perhaps setting up formal LinkedIn communities, formal Facebook pages and customer portals. Again, the focus there is technologies that allow the organization to moderate and potentially control or influence the conversations and content that's going on to those managed communities. Finally, we get on to independent communities. This is basically anyone with an internet connection. From a participant perspective, either as a consumer or a business, it's about answering my questions, solving my problems, again, at a time, venue, and on a device that suits me. It allows me to contribute ideas about products and services that I've purchased, and quite often, people use public social networks, independent communities, to be able to brutally communicate their feedback, whether it be poor service, whether it be product capabilities, or just the organization in general. They can use it to register praise. They can definitely use it for endorsements and recommendations. And in fact, that speaks to that large percentage of people that are now utilizing peer recommendations in order to make purchasing decisions. They also utilize these independent communities to search for solutions from other customers. Again, the same concept as the managed community, but you're now broadly trawling the entire social network in order to surface or to source answers to my questions. And again, I can also use these very global public networks to identify myself as an expert across that community. From an organizational perspective, these independent communities present a great opportunity. First of all, they can listen to customers' feedback, they can register the praise, they can understand the complaints and suggestions. They can use social media as another channel to actually engage customers, as a way to identify specific issues or potentially reach out and amplify their particular message or what they're trying to convey. So it's another channel of collaboration and communication. They can also utilize these social networks and listen to these social networks to analyze trends in the conversations, potentially identifying early warnings, potentially identifying issues that are large scale before they blow out of proportion or before they become very large scale issues. So technology examples of the independent communities are third-party forums and blogs. All kinds of organizations, consultants, individuals, consumers go and set up their own forums and blogs to post commentary on the world at large or particular products and services. And then we're also talking about independent social networks such as Twitter and Facebook, LinkedIn, and there are many other global networks where people can join, participate, and offer all kinds of observations in real time. So what are the business opportunities with social technologies? Well, these are areas that have been progressively analysed and articulated by many market experts. But it basically broadens to 6 areas of opportunity for utilising social technology with your organisation. This is the model that Dynamics CRM are utilising as far as our product planning and roadmap is considered. First of all, the opportunities are around listening. So being able to listen, monitor, dissect, and understand trends and key influences in social networks and social technologies. It's another opportunity to engage and collaborate with stakeholders to inform, to respond, and potentially to influence opinions about products, services, and brand sentiment. You can use social technologies to amplify your message. Again, so not only another channel for inbound engagement and listening, but also to actually further broadcast, another channel to broadcast your message, get information out about products and services, campaigns, and other things that initiatives that the organization is driving. Business opportunities with social technologies also include the ability to solve problems, to be able to harvest the broad realm of knowledge within communities, both external, internal, and independent, around how you can harness that and reuse that for solving problems and providing answers for the broader set of customers. Innovate talks to the fact that you can utilize ideas and crowdsource communities to drive better informed decisions about the investments you make in your products and services. And then finally, encompassing all of these business opportunities is the ability to analyze, the ability to go and measure the strength of message that's going out, how many people are talking about your products and services, the ability to actually calculate stakeholder sentiment, and then determine the impact that various individuals or communities are having on the perception of your brand's products and services. So what is the Dynamics approach, the Dynamics CRM approach to social CRM? Overall, the mission for our product is as follows. We want to deliver intelligent software and services. We want to provide tools that enable incredible, extraordinary customer relationships, and we want to drive productivity and world-class business results. So that's the overall mission of our product. How does social CRM fit into that? Every investment that we make in social CRM aligns to and supports the objective of productivity. Our whole focus as far as Dynamics CRM is concerned is to drive productivity for organizations, to drive productivity for individual users. We certainly view that social is a very important and an increasingly important part of how organizations do business and how they collaborate and communicate. But we certainly don't necessarily shy away from the fact that traditional channels for sales, service, and marketing are not going to disappear overnight. What we're actually saying, our approach is that social technologies become another aspect of sales, service, and marketing processes within an organization. Microsoft as a whole, Microsoft as a vendor, is investing significantly in social capabilities across all of our product range, whether that be consumer through things like Xbox Live and other consumer services, whether it be productivity applications and information worker products such as Office and SharePoint, investments are increasingly coming and will be increasingly included in future roadmaps for these products. As well as our business solutions, where we're looking at how social capabilities are being delivered into things like Dynamics CRM. Microsoft also has a number of significant research initiatives around the use of social technologies across the board. So things like Fuse Labs, things like Microsoft Research are investing in ways for our technologies to take advantage of independent and managed communities. So our overall strategy for Microsoft Dynamics CRM is to harness the breadth and the incredible set of innovations that Microsoft is bringing to the table across the board, as well as making prudent, specific investments in social CRM within our own product. So from a customer standpoint, you get the best of all of the breadth of Microsoft innovation, as well as specific social CRM capabilities that drive productivity for your organization. So our overall social CRM objectives are as follows. Microsoft Dynamics CRM, we want to form the foundation of your business hub, the main area where you manage and enrich all of the important relationships and the interactions that you have with your customers and stakeholders. We want to provide a solution and a set of tools that allow employees and vendors and partners and everyone else within your ecosystem to be able to connect and to be able to view and share, to be able to discover and uncover relationships that are important, the ability to engage and listen, and therefore drive richer business relationships, which in turn drive more productivity in sales, service, and marketing processes. So as I mentioned before, Microsoft is investing significantly in social technologies. Whether it be across SharePoint or Office, or Bing, the ability to actually go and surface Facebook and Twitter observations and trends and statuses all within the Bing experience. Whether it's Windows Phone and the concept of the People Hub and being able to blend social data as well as traditional contact data from things like Outlook and Exchange, and surfacing that all into a common experience. Whether it's services like Xbox Live, where we're trying to drive all kinds of communities across Xbox, both for gamers as well as people that are utilizing the Xbox devices for content consumption and reviews. So Microsoft as a whole is putting more and more continuous investment, more and more research dollars. And when you consider that Microsoft as a whole invests over $9 billion annually in R&D, this is a significant area in conjunction with our Microsoft Cloud strategy, our Microsoft Business Solutions strategy. Across the board, social investments are central to the Microsoft mission and business strategy. So let's turn to what customers can do today. What can you utilize from the Microsoft technology stack, either independently or in conjunction with Dynamics CRM, to drive productivity for your users and your business? First of all, the Outlook Social Connector was delivered with Outlook 2010, brings a broad set of social data surfaced directly within Microsoft Outlook. So as I receive emails, it will surface information from a broad variety of sources, whether that be Facebook, whether it be LinkedIn, so I can enrich my picture of that person, what they're doing, and how they actually work in with other stakeholders within the organization. They can expand social networks and stay up to date, both personally and professionally, all within the one application. They can also see all of the profiles and updates and any new connections that have been established. On top of that, because CRM is embedded natively within Microsoft Outlook, you're now getting that single view that combines CRM interactions and information with the social world. So again, we're bringing the concept from Windows Phone of the People Hub, but bringing it in the context of CRM. It also provides a simple timeline of everything that's going on with relevant customer activities, whether they be appointments or phone calls, whether they be social statuses, whether they be those people changing jobs or other things that are going to affect how we engage with that customer. So combining all of that together, the social and the CRM data, provides that very rich 360-degree view that every organization is looking for, whether it be in sales, whether it be in service or marketing. And the other value is that it's provided at no cost for licensed Outlook users. So you're not paying additional money in order to take advantage of this. It's actually a choice on whether you want to switch this on for your users, for your organization. Microsoft Fuse Labs. There's a huge amount of innovation coming from this area of the business that's working in conjunction with all kinds of Microsoft product R&D teams to develop and deliver new capabilities and new ways on surfacing, harnessing, and analyzing social data from across all kinds of networks. So whether it's about accumulating and mashing up all kinds of web and social content about a customer or prospect, whether it's about providing real-time visualization on what people are talking about, brands and keywords and so on within Twitter and those independent communities, or whether it's allowing your ability to go and search across topics and even map locational information, geographic information about where people are posting their observations from. Microsoft Fuse Labs allows you to do that today. And when you start to place that in the context of CRM, whether you're embedding that within dashboards, gives you that insight around social activity, gives you insight into brand sentiment and brand buzz about what people are saying about your organization. And again, these technologies are available at no cost. You can download these and make use of them today. Excel Analytics for Twitter, again, is another aspect where Microsoft is providing capabilities to query Twitter and to do all kinds of elaborate analysis directly within Microsoft Excel 2010. You can utilize Power Pivot to actually go and perform all kinds of detailed analysis on the feed of data that's coming from Twitter. You can see things like who are the top people, who are the top tweeters about your particular brand, about the hashtags that you're looking for, so you can start to get an idea on volume and buzz. And you can also start to do things like sentiment analysis, so determining whether individual tweets are positive, negative, or neutral. And on top of that, you can take this Excel capability and embed that directly in Dynamics CRM as a standard report. So these capabilities, again, these are available at no cost if you're a licensed Excel user. And then finally, SharePoint 2010 has made significant investments around social capabilities, around community management. Whether it's all kinds of things on content and collaboration, being able to actually work on documents together, driving workflows around document collaboration, sales proposals, service reports, all kinds of things. Being able to establish and allocate work, drive surveys, all kinds of these collaboration pieces. When you also then look at the social computing on internal communities, so things like internal blogs, profiles and my sites, things like ratings and the ability to apply tags to content, status updates, so the organization is aware on where you are, what you're working on, what your expertise levels are in various subject matters, those sorts of things. So those combined are really driving productivity for business communities. And as you'll see in our roadmap, we're going to start to harness more of these capabilities from the broad set of Microsoft innovation around utilizing social technologies. So in terms of our investments starting in the Q4 calendar year 2011 service update for Dynamics CRM, our focus initially is around driving productivity for those internal communities. So these are the things where we want to allow and facilitate our employees and stakeholders and members of our internal ecosystem to be able to collaborate more easily, to understand and keep their finger on the pulse on what's going on within your organization and what's relevant to them. So we want to introduce the concept of the activity feed. And this is allowing you simplified business insight, simplified capabilities around how people can collaborate. It's providing what we're terming enterprise microblogging. So allowing people to have a very consumerized experience similar to Twitter and Facebook within the enterprise, within the CRM application, and being able to post statuses and questions, being able to answer questions, point people towards content, being able to comment on events that are going on. They're also able to actually follow people and records that are relevant to them, whether that's colleagues, whether it's contacts or accounts, whether it's service cases or opportunities. I can keep my finger on what's most important to me in terms of what my role in the organization is. I can look at timelines of important statuses, both on walls, whether that be global, whether that be record specific or personal. So I can see all of the posts and all of the statuses that are relevant and related to a specific account, or I can get a timeline view on everything that I subscribe to, everything that I follow within the organization. On top of that, it's also workflow and API enabled. So it doesn't necessarily limit itself to internal events and internal statuses. It means that we can have automatic posts from the system. So if an opportunity closes, we can have the system automatically post a status to the activity feed. And so my boss's boss is automatically aware of my achievement. I don't need to try too hard on self-promotion. From an API perspective, it also means that external systems can post to the activity feed. So maybe an order is processed or an invoice is issued in the ERP system. It can write to the activity feed in CRM to keep everyone informed about what's going on. It also respects the core security model. So I'm not able to see what I'm not allowed to see within the system, or statuses related to information I'm not allowed to see. And also, and probably most importantly, it exposes link presence. So I can actually, within the activity feed, determine whether a related contact or colleague, user, is online, offline, in a meeting, available, and I can trigger interactions with them. I can start phone calls, I can start IM conversations, I can send emails or book appointments. So it becomes a very sticky area of the application where I can keep an eye on what's going on, but drive actions accordingly once I see events that are relevant to me. In conjunction with that, we're also releasing a mobile activity feed client that's going to run on Windows Phone 7. It allows me to view real-time activities from CRM when I'm external from the office. I can also go and post real-time statuses. So I've got all of the functionality available to me, but I can take that when I'm out of the office. It allows me to view accounts and contacts and other relevant information on my mobile device, and it gives me shortcuts for that device. So I can make phone calls, I can send emails directly from CRM contacts. I can also, on addresses, I can actually use the Bing Maps service on Windows Phone 7 to actually get one-click directions and locational information for that address. And on top of that, it's also completely configurable in terms of the information that you want to expose to the mobile application. So again, our initial device support is for Windows Phone 7, but moving forward, we'll broaden that set of capabilities to a wider set of devices and platforms. So where are we heading beyond Wave 1? The first area that we're going to invest in is extending that social CRM innovation, being able to drive better collaboration and insight and engagement. And again, noting that the release dates for these capabilities that I'm now about to outline have not yet been finalized, but certainly these are the directional investment areas as far as social CRM is concerned, beyond the Q4 2011 service update that's going to ship soon. First of all, we're going to add more capabilities around that internal social collaboration. So being able to add new actions into activity feeds, being able to convert statuses into actionable business items such as cases and opportunities and leads and so on. We're going to provide a broader set of supported devices and form factors. So things like other devices such as iPhone, iPad, Android. We're going to have a broader set of devices that will support this activity feed construct. We're going to add new consumer capabilities around hashtags and tag clouds to understand the subjects and areas that people are talking about within these internal communities. We'll further enhance the personalization and filtering capabilities so I can drive more granular analysis about the events and statuses that mean something to me. And then we're also going to utilize more capabilities coming out of our Microsoft broader research area to start to post things like relevance ratings and use business intelligence to drive suggested connections to better allow a user to understand the community and build the network that's relevant to them to be more productive. Another area of investment is around what we're terming the business network. And this is placing people and relationships at the center of productivity. It allows us to enrich the profile of contacts and accounts by doing all kinds of crowdsourcing, allowing users to share parts of information that they feel is relevant and contribute to the broader picture on who a customer or a contact is. When you consider that there's all kinds of interactions going on between people and external customers, there's an enormous amount of knowledge that can be gained. And so by providing this crowdsourcing mechanism allows our users to build a broader picture, a better picture, a richer picture of who people are. It will also go and identify relationships. So it means that I'll be able to identify that a person has a relationship with several of my colleagues. So if this is a new contact for me, I can broker a richer relationship, I can broker a more valuable relationship by tapping into contacts and relationships that already exist and relationships that I might not even be aware of. So this is very, very powerful capabilities. And finally, it will allow the organization to define whether or not organizations and contacts and accounts are valuable, how influential they are, and the overall business impact, so that when I'm determining which actions I need to take, I've got a view, a very simple view of how valuable or how much business impact a person has, so I can prioritize my work according to the value that that interaction may bring to the organization. It drives productivity. We're also looking at capabilities around listening and engaging. So we're terming the concepts here the social looking glass. Being able to listen to social conversations on Twitter and Facebook. Being able to blend all of these channels in with existing processes. All of this listening is useless unless you can actually make it actionable. If I can use and listen into social networks to identify an issue, so if someone makes a complaint and we turn a blind eye to it or we don't listen to that, it just becomes a useful piece of information. But if we can turn that into an actionable item, turn it into a service case, turn it into a sales opportunity, it opens up another channel of engagement on how we interact with our customers. It also is going to provide us new sets of capabilities on cross-channel analytics, finding out the buzz, finding out how prevalent people are using external and independent social networks to discuss and have conversations and post their thoughts and observations about our products and services. So what I'd like to do is show you some of the capabilities that are going to be shipping in the Q4 calendar year 2011 service update and take you through some of the capabilities in activity feeds. So I'd like to deliver a quick demonstration of some of the capabilities delivered in the Q4 2011 service update. What you're looking at here is the activity feeds capabilities and the ability to actually use microblogging to actually keep in touch with what's going on within the business that you subscribe to and follow to, be able to exchange ideas and very simply collaborate with colleagues in terms of asking questions, finding expertise, answering and solving problems. So you'll see that we've got this concept of the what's new wall. This is everything that I subscribe to within the organization, whether that be users, accounts, contacts, cases, opportunities, and the like. I have the ability to go in and actually edit my profile picture. I can see how many people are actually following me. I can also have a view of the types of records that I'm following, in this case, one user or colleague and 2 accounts, but I can follow anything within the system. At its simplest, all I need to do is actually type in a status. So, what are the new capabilities in activity feeds? And I can post that. And then people can actually go ahead and apply comments to that, so other users. So enterprise microblogging and many others. So you'll see that you can start to build that up, and then anyone following me can get that information and see that in their activity feed, and it's very, very simple. But where it becomes useful is I can also start to reference other things within the system. So I can say, let's say Eric, who's a colleague of mine, so all I need to do is type the @ sign and it will start to filter information for me. So Eric, wondering where the sales proposal is for, and then again I'll do another @ sign, and I'm going to look up another account. So let's say that we want breathtaking sporting goods. Put that question mark in there and post that. So that information's now in there, and you'll see that it's actually gone and created links directly to that. One of the other things that we've done is we've actually embedded presence within the activity feed. So if I hover over Eric, it picks up the fact that he's connected to Link. I can then trigger things like instant message, send an email, trigger a phone call, or schedule appointments and do various other things as far as interactions with Eric. So it's very powerful, allows me to keep on top of the situation, allows me to take actions, and it means that it becomes the one place where I can monitor what's going on in the business that's important to me. Let's go now into an account record. So again, I can click onto that directly from there. Now we have the concept of a record wall. So a record wall is any activities, any activity statuses that have been posted directly to this particular record. In this case, it's an account. So again, I've got all of the concepts there around links to the various records, but it's only contextual to that account. So I can see whether or not everything that's going on from a timeline perspective with the account Breathtaking Sporting Goods, or I can get that global view of everything within the system. The other thing also is, let's say I'm the account manager for Breathtaking Sporting Goods and I want to get a picture in terms of what's going on with that particular account. All I need to do is actually go and follow that, and all of the activity statuses will now appear within my activity feed, so I can keep on top of it. Then in conjunction obviously with the mobile client, which I'm going to demonstrate in just a minute, I can keep track of everything that's important to me, both when I'm within the office as well as when I'm outside the office. So fantastic capabilities delivered through the new activity feeds in the Q4 2011 service update. This is Windows Phone 7, so we're running an emulator here, and you'll see that we've got the Dynamics CRM application here, so we'll drill into that. So it will connect to CRM, and you'll see that there's a range of information that I can access. So these are all of the record types that have been exposed, so you'll see accounts and cases and contacts. And we've got a number of other things. So as I swipe across, we'll see any automatic posts from the system. In this case, there are none. And we can also go in and have a look at the user posts. So these are things that I have gone in, or any other user has gone in, either through the mobile client or through CRM 2011 itself. And if I drill into a particular post, I can actually put additional comments. And so I can do all of the same activity feed functionality that you can do through the CRM 2011 client itself. So if we keep scrolling through, so now I'm going to move back, go back into the application itself. And one of the things you'll see is all the records that we've actually got listed there. So if I go into, let's say, accounts, I can do a different view. So in this case, I've got selected my active accounts. And you'll see in this case, Liverpool FC is the account I'm in charge of. So if I drill into that, again, this is configurable in terms of what you want to display on the device, but I can do a number of things. The first thing is that I can actually use the Bing Maps service to do some locational information about that address. So all I need to do is click on any of the blue fields, and it will automatically detect that that's an address and go and actually plot that onto a Bing map. And I can then do things like driving directions and those sorts of things. Let's jump back. I can also navigate into other records. So in this case, I can go into a particular user's profile, and you'll see that anything that is in blue, I can take an action on. So in this case, it's detected that this is an email address. so I can actually go ahead and trigger sending an email. If there were phone numbers in there, I can automatically, with one click, actually go and trigger a phone call to that particular person or account or contact. So there are a number of things that I can do within the application. I can see all of the relevant accounts and contacts and everything I'm responsible for. I've got the full functionality of the activity feed, and I can keep on top of the situation by monitoring that activity feed directly on my Windows Phone 7. Again, this is going to be broadened out to a broader set of devices, but for now the first release is going to be on Windows Phone 7. So as you've seen, Microsoft Dynamics CRM is making significant investments in social CRM capabilities, both in the short term and the long term. Additionally, Microsoft as a software vendor is investing greatly in social capabilities right across our technology range. If you'd like to find out more, go to our website crm.dynamics.com, and with that, thank you very much for your time.